Welcome to the Business Spotlight Podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host for today's episode. And today on the show, I have Chris Kennedy, founder and CEO of Astrafuse, as my guest. We're going to be learning about his business, his journey to business ownership, best practices, and challenges that he's faced to give you an inside look to what it's like to own and operate a business. Welcome, Chris. It's so great to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Kay.
Yes. Well, before we dive into all things business, I would love to share with my audience a little bit about you. So take me back as far as you'd like. Share a bit about yourself and how you got started in business.
Sure. So, to rewind, my role has always been technical. I've been a CTO for several startups. I've been a director, or not a director, but a VP of engineering for a couple of other businesses. I was a developer for most of my career on different size teams. I've worked with a lot of big brands as a consultant, Nike, Microsoft, or not Microsoft, Google, Accenture, um, Twilio, like just to name a few. Like it's big companies and then a lot of smaller companies, mom and pop type businesses. I fell into this role uh, by accident. My last company that I worked for, I was the CTO. For personal reasons, the founder, the CEO decided to close up shop. I had the choice to go get another job. Instead, I chose to rebuild a new business based on what I was doing before. So now you have Astrafuse, and it's just a continuation of what I was doing before, but just done in my own way.
That's pretty cool. Now, when did you start? What was the year?
2024. So it was like worst timing. It was Christmas time. I was leading up to Christmas when I got the news. And then the final decision was made like midway in December. So in about 2, 3 weeks, I talked to a lot of friends. I did a lot of thinking about what I was going to do next. In January, I incorporated, and then I teamed up with a few people that also lost their jobs at the former company. So we now have, like, we all co-founded Astrafuse, and it's really just continuing to do the work together that we already enjoyed doing before.
Oh, okay, cool. So there's multiple owners then, or like, okay,
Yes, yes.
okay, awesome,
So
awesome.
pretty much everybody that I work with now is a small company, but we're all owners.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I play the CEO role just based on my experience and me like getting things going, and then also just like supporting everybody's thought was like, wait a minute, I think we can do this ourselves. Why don't we try and keep the business alive?
Oh, I dig it. Well, that's it. This is the first time I've had something like this, how a business is built. So that's a really cool story of how you wanted to keep something going and found the heads needed to do it. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So diving in, I would love to kind of like look at your day to day as the CEO, as you mentioned. What does your day to day look like? Are you mostly working in the business or on the business, or is it a bit of both?
It's a bit of both. We did not take any investment capital. It's all bootstrapped. Um, so everything that has to happen for the business, it's the co-founding team like putting in the work. We are trying to build an asset. So we are trying to build the business, but day to day, like I don't have like a team that I can just delegate everything to. And then my background's very technical and tactical, so I see a challenge and it's not, hey, let's go hire a developer. It's like, hey, how can I solve that very quickly, either through building it or through paying for some software that I'm familiar with to do it. Uh,
Okay.
so I'm in the business, probably more operations these days than historically, like in former roles.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, does that answer your question? I feel like
Yeah, yeah, it does. And how many owners are there? How many um yeah, people who have stake?
there's four of us, and then we have some contractors that we work with. But
Okay.
core of four in the team. One person is finance, another person is he does a lot of sales. Like we call him our director of ops, but he does a lot of sales and customer success type work. And then we
Yeah.
have one other person that does like he buys media for us, does a lot of Facebook ads for our clients.
Okay. Okay. Now, when you look at your day to day, I'm sure it changes as a, as an
Mhm.
owner, but what do you have like a kind of like map out what's a typical week look like for you?
Uh, s- oh, it's all over the place. So like I feel like it comes and goes in seasons, not necessarily like days or weeks at a time. Maybe like it kind of changes actually. There's no like concrete timeline that things happen.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'm very focused on sales. It's we don't have enough people that we're working with or enough clients, so we need to go out and get lead. But we call them buyers, but it's the people that buy the leads that we generate. I should probably talk about what we do as a business as well. That might be helpful in
I
the
was
context
just
of
gonna
the city.
ask, yeah, what do you
Um,
do?
yeah, so we do lead gen for home improvement companies. We also help businesses that are in solar. We own and operate a few brands online, and we drive traffic to those pages with the goal that we're going to generate a lead. And it's usually uh, a short survey to request a quote, and it might be for roofing, gutter replacement on your roof. Like sometimes it's repair, window replacement, bathroom remodels, and there's different types of bathroom remodels. Each of these categories, there's like a lot that goes into it, but and you have like specialties within those big categories in home improvement, but we're trying to drive homeowners to these brands to show interest in those services. And if they fill out a survey, that we then try to match it with a contractor that can actually service the lead that says, "Hey, I want that product or service,"
Hmm.
and that's how we make money.
Okay, okay. Thank you for painting the picture there. That's awesome. Now, this is a fun question. If I were to like if I gave you an extra 10 hours in your week, where would those hours go? Would you put them into your business, the personal life, or a blend of both?
Oh, I don't, it's hard for me to answer that question because like I enjoy what I do, so it doesn't feel like work all the time. But I would probably put it more into my personal life.
Oh yeah, you take a mini vacation with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so now looking at as like wearing the hats that you're wearing now, is there anything that you wish you weren't having to do in the what you're building?
I don't, so I've always been like I always compare the business to like a restaurant where you have front of the house where it's like you have a hostess, you have this the staff that serves you. Um, I've always been like back of the house, I like I help make the sausage and figure out how the sausage is going to be made at scale. So being CEO, I'm forced to be in front of the house, and even like my VP of engineering roles, I was part of the sales process. I don't really enjoy that part of the work, but like it's just it goes with the territory. If I could just be like investing in tech and doing R&D, like I would be very happy in those roles. But I don't get that luxury anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a really good analogy, what you said, like a restaurant, like front and back of house.
Yeah,
Like, and you think about that, like people who thrive in either one, and
yeah,
sometimes the other one, you're like, hey, do it when you have to, but it's like, ooh, I'd rather not, but I know I
yeah,
part of the journey.
yeah.
And thinking about that in mind is what is there a way that are you trying to kind of like bring a face to the company, or are you like sold on you're like, okay, I'm the face of this, taking this on?
No, yeah, no, I have no ego in it. And I like a former coach of mine when I was starting the business, I shared that. I said, I will play this role for as long as I have to. And
Hmm.
then I know that there's going to be a tough decision. One day I'm going to have to give up one aspect. Either I have to really like lean into like being the face, or I'll go back into the role that I like playing, which is development product, like working on the product. Um, it's easy for me to say like I'm happy to give up the face of the company as long as I have like an active role that contributes to the product. Like I could care less, but so far it's been good. Like the last 2 years playing this role, I have a lot more empathy for former CEOs that I've helped and like coached and helped with product development. Um, but I know where my strengths are. Like I know that I really like the technical aspect of the business.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome to share. And now looking at like every owner I talk to is growing through something. It could be a new season, a new product, a new challenge. What is something you and the company are growing through right now?
So for the first 2 years, it was growth through like sheer brute force. So we brought on a lot of lead buyers or clients to sell leads to, and I wouldn't say that it was a good thing. There was a lot of things that surfaced by just like rapidly onboarding new buyers into our ecosystem. Um, but there was a lot of stress that came from that. And it
Mm,
wasn't it wasn't resulting in like higher quality, like just because we had more clients, it did not mean that our product was any better or
hmm
worse.
hmm
It just was more for us to handle in operations, and it just
Yeah.
taxed everybody. It was just more to pay attention to. So we're in this right now we're cleaning up our relationships and saying, like, strategically saying yes to more clients that fit like a certain mold versus just signing on anybody that is willing to work with us. So it's like we've identified some characteristics where these are the things that our best clients do, and we want more of those clients and less
hmm
of the other type of clients that we had before. And it's a really common thing in the lead gen world that a lot of these companies go through. It's like you want to be as direct to the I guess be closer to the money, is a common phrase I see in the circles I'm in, which
hmm
it's the people that actually work the leads, that actually need the leads, the businesses that need the leads.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and that leads perfectly into my next question, which is what is the thing that if someone handed you a solution for tomorrow would change the most about how you're running the business right now?
A solution that would change the way the business is.
Yeah, and how it's running.
I think yeah, that's tough because it's like there's a chicken or egg problem, like what came first.
Yeah.
Um, the sales. So if I had a solution that could handle the sales and bring on new buyers, um, and with that is probably some marketing, but sales, like having a steady flow of sales for like our ideal customer, that would help a lot for the business. I think that would change a lot of things. I think we'd get into this like rapid cycle again where it's kind of a frenzy, but at least it's with some predictable growth in there. Where
hmm
before it was just like we were throwing a lot of darts at the wall and hoping something would stick.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And so it's like finally like when you get that aha moment, you're like, "Ah, let's make more of this one thing."
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that is incredible. Now, diving into the future of the company now, I want to switch gears a little bit. What does success look like in the next 3 to 5 years?
Um, Probably like my role wouldn't be so like I wouldn't be so involved with certain things. Like I wear a lot of hats right now. So being able to delegate some of those things and like give those to somebody else. So like our team is small and nimble right now. So having an expansion in the next 3 years would be nice so that not just me, but some of my co-founders as well, because they wear many hats. So somebody that really like owns sales, somebody that really owns marketing, somebody that really owns delivery. We're just, I think we're stretched thin and we have to operate as generalists. So having more specialists would be nice.
And now, are you looking to expand the team this year, or is that something that's in your?
No, no, this year is I would say it's like the year that we're really finding our groove, like
Yeah.
really owning our strengths and then revealing where our weaknesses are and either like owning those and just saying like we don't service clients because of this reason. We know our success rate is low. and really leaning into the relationships where we know that we have a high track record of success and bringing more of those in the door. Because we grew fast and then now we're kind of easing off, and now we'll probably have to go through another pattern of rapid growth.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, when the business, like, what does the business look like when everything is doing, like, everything you want is it's doing what you want it to do? Like, when
Sure,
that growth gets there.
sure, that's a great question. So from start to finish, there's the client onboarding. So bringing on a new lead buyer, knowing that we are able to supply the leads that they demand. So part of this is like we rely on third-party ad systems or platforms, and
Mm-hmm.
they're very unpredictable depending on what market you're in and depending on your budget. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can spend unlimited, sure, you can make it, like you can win everything, but it doesn't always, just throwing more spend at an ad platform doesn't always yield like more business. You have to have the economics to support that increase in cost and then the flow of those leads that may come in from the spend.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that I can bring on a buyer, a lead buyer or a client, and then I can supply the perfect campaign that brings the leads that they want, and then it's just smooth running, like all our KPIs are tracking. So we have our own KPIs on the ad spend. So we put so many dollars in to get so many leads, and then our clients, their cost of marketing is in line with what they want. And finding like the perfect match for us and for them, I mean that is probably the one of the hardest things for us to do over and over again.
Yeah, and like, so thinking about what does that do for you personally when you get there, when you get things in that well-oiled machine, so to speak?
Everybody's happy, everybody's happy, everybody's making money. Like the client is happy because they're getting new business predictably. We're happy because our clients are saying, okay, you're doing well, but get us like get us more leads. So we know that we have to spend more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we so coming out of COVID, like the former business did really well. Like there was just a lot of money being poured into multiple markets. Everybody was just having fun, but things are just more competitive now. It's a little bit harder to run campaigns profitably for home improvement. Not impossible, just more challenges, more competition. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it just morale is better.
Yeah. Yeah. And like when you look at the gap between today and say this big picture, 5-year picture, what's the biggest obstacle that's in the middle?
It's really that we're at the mercy of like the markets that we're playing in. So when I say markets, like we do a lot of social media advertising, and that is very trendy. Like there are trends that come and go, and then there's this wave of attention that you have to be able to capitalize on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of creativity that goes into capturing that attention. Um, so us being able to just predictably buy attention and turn that into sales for our customers, like that is like the biggest problem that we need to be able to solve again and again. And we can do it for some categories, but other categories we are still learning our bearings and still getting familiar with the categories.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very real thing. And like, what do you think it would take to get that conquered? Like you're working in more of those categories.
I'm not sure. I wish I had the answer. I don't know. That is like why I'm still in the business day to day, is to figure that out with the media team.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, well, this I now I want to kind of switch gears and bring it to your background and your journey. And so far in business, it's been a few years. As you look back, what's been the most memorable roadblock that you've overcame and found success?
In the beginning, I was trying to figure out like how do I do this, and I was coming out of a business that had a lot of capital to put into advertising and had a payment like a payout cycle for our traffic partners and our traffic channels. I couldn't compete with that starting out. At least I didn't believe I could at first. So I did what felt natural is I started to look. for investors, I asked some friends and some colleagues, and I said, like, I am looking for help to accelerate the business. And I almost took outside capital on to do it. But then like my friends started to ask, like, well, can you tell me more about the business? Like, how much did it make? What were the costs? And then as I started to look into what the business was doing and how the cash flow worked, I had like this aha moment. I'm like, actually, I don't need outside capital. We can do this without outside capital. We just have to get started. So it was just like the final push. Like I didn't think I could do it, but through being forced to answer some questions asked by my friends and colleagues, I was able to figure out like the cash flow will work itself out. I just have to be able to ride this first like few weeks of building and launching.
Definitely, definitely. Now, how do you manage the hard days?
I just have to remind myself that there will be one day that it's all worth it. Um, I'm not looking at like a short time horizon. I'm looking 5, 10 years into the future that I know that the hard work will pay off in the future. That right now I'm in like the hardest season of a new business, which is getting started and building it.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Now I want to take us to a kind of a fun question. So this one is thinking about all that we've talked about and all that we're working towards. If I gave you a little bit of magic dust and you could sprinkle that magic dust on any aspect, if there's one aspect though, any of them of your business, and it rapidly improves for the better, what would it be?
I think it's more of the same. It's just it's being able to consistently get the more of the best customers that I have. So I like every week we review where we're at. And a big part of that review is client by client, like which client is the best and which clients do we need to have discussions with to improve or decide that we're just going to pause things because it's not working out. If I could just take my top three and duplicate them, like if I had 10 of them, it would make all the difference in the world.
Hmm. Definitely. That makes so much sense. Well, thank you for sharing that. Before we get to our final question of the day, let's help connect you with those clients. How can people find you and connect with you online?
Yeah, so the best channel is where you found me on LinkedIn. My handle is CH Kennedy. And then my website is astrafuse.com. And that's with an A, astrafuse.com.
Astra. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it on the t-shirt now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for our final question of the day. What is most inspiring to you today?
Uh, Great question. It's almost summer. My kids are going to be out. So like like all the kids will be out. So this summer there's probably going to be a lot of fun activities. And every summer I have to figure out how to balance working from home with my family life. So uh yeah, I'm looking forward to the summer. Like it's gonna force me to like get outside more and do stuff that is away from the computer.
Aw, yeah, that's a great inspiration. Well, Chris, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's been great talking to you today on the show.
Thank you, Kay.